Right up the middle, running free. A lightning bolt. And he leaps and somersaults into the end zone. Right up the middle, running free, may score. McCaffrey takes it home.
Welcome to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light. There's Jeremy Chin coming out, getting ready for the game. This is the Coca-Cola team arrivals. Cozy season, Kurt.
That looked like a cozy outfit right there with Jeremy Chin and
Derek Brown also getting cozy. Everybody in their Sunday best for the game today. Team arrivals are presented by Coca-Cola. There he is, your guy.
I love my guy, Trey.
So excited. Does he ever have a time where he's just not full of energy?
I've worked him out to death where he has lost all of energy, but he is full of it all the time.
And of course, we had to see Robbie. We always got to see what he is wearing. And there is Bank of America Stadium. Beautiful day here in Charlotte. Great day for some football. And you know, Kurt, we saw everyone had on their sweaters and everything this morning. Krista Balboni and Kurt Coleman here. It's going to be a beautiful day. It's going to be a high of 70 here.
It's
December in
Carolina. Is this December weather right now? But as a football player, you would say this is the best type of weather to play in. A little bit of calm, a little bit of breeze. The sun is out. There's no clouds in the sky. This is the optimum football weather if you're a player. You don't have to worry about getting too hot. It is perfect. And in Carolina, where else would you rather be?
I agree. And look, we always check in on the players' fashion coming in. We always check in on yours, too. This is the first time I've seen you suitless. You went all black. It must be someone's funeral. I'm guessing you'd say I'm guessing you'd say the Broncos today.
Well,
right?
I think that's actually a myth. Every time I've dressed in all black, it has never been good when I go all suit. This is more of the dress down. My wife and I, we went into the closet. We said, what do we want to do? And my kids picked up my chain. I have a special thing for them. So this was, it's the new. I wanted to kind of just change it up a little bit for the season. Kurt
looks fashionable even when he's just wearing the basic all black. You pull off everything.
You look great as well.
Well, thank you very much. But we know it's all about Kurt's fashion. That is the top headline every single week. Also, the top headline, our virtual fan room. Hey guys, thank you so much for being here.
Is that a dog waving in the middle right there?
We have a dog. Oh wow, he's just
Wait,
Troy's
two
dogs' paws are just going crazy. That's a fluffy dog right there. We got a snowman. Hey, we appreciate all of you guys being here so much. Thank you all. Love the virtual fan room. We're going to be checking in with them all game long. But Kurt, let's talk about this week. So last week, the Panthers were on a bye, the latest in the NFL, week 13. And then coming into this week, there were 8 players placed on the COVID reserve list. Now, they get a number of those players back who were activated on Friday, but it's been a weird week. There's no doubt about it. It's been a weird week. So, you know, if you're a player, how do you approach kind of these 2 off weeks and being ready for this game?
I think 2 things is coming into the bye week, you have 2 things. You have time to kind of reevaluate yourself. So the coaching staff, they'll spend hours and hours of diagnosing and really being detailed of what did we do well throughout this year, what have we not done well, where can we improve, and what are some areas that, look, we are just really good at, and we're going to continue to refine that and make that a better area as a team. But as a player, you're going into this week of saying, am I playing? Am I not playing? Do I have this guy playing next to me? There's a lot of uncertainty going into it. But in 2020, this is the year to be uncertain. And the one thing that you can be certain about is prepare for the unexpected. And I think all the players, we've had so many people come in and out through injuries. They are ready. They are prepared. I think the one thing that you wanted to know as a player is, am I going to play? And I know for some of the guys, that anticipation, that anxiety kind of rises, but you have to do your due diligence, study a little bit more. Even if you're not getting the practice reps, you have to be ready to go no matter what.
I do have a question for you about that. So I spoke to Derek Brown, who was on that COVID reserve list. You know, first and foremost, it's about the health of the players and their families. We are so happy that he is healthy and doing well. So he was not able to practice for the bye week and was able to come into practice on Friday of this week. So just one practice with the team over the last 2 weeks. And I said, how was that mentally and physically, being ready to play? And he said, you know, it's hard to practice by yourself, but you got to be ready. How tough is that for a professional if you miss, let's say, 3 practices, 2 practices, and then have to go out there? Because to me, I go, oh my gosh. But is it something that at this level, you can go out there, be ready to play, be familiar with the game plan regardless of what happens during the week? I
would say yes, you could do that if you were a veteran, someone that's been in the NFL for such a long time, and you have the experience and the understanding of what every single week entails. But Derek Brown is a rookie, and I think sometimes we forget that because of what he's been able to do on the field at a young age. But to simulate practice, to simulate what it looks like in a meeting room with your coaches constantly be on top of you and telling you what you did right and what you did wrong, it's tough to simulate. And if you have your family around, you're probably enjoying yourself a little too much instead of being always focused. But I think Derek Brown has the maturity, he has the understanding, and I'm sure he has called KK short, called a lot of the guys that have been in situations that he's been in as far as not being with the team and understanding what do I need to do on my off time when I'm by myself, how can I get myself prepared for when my opportunity does come and they say, you're passed, go practice.
Yeah, this is all a helpful context to talk about what the Panthers have been going through this week, but we know Matt Rule is not one for excuses. He said plenty of other teams have been going through the same thing, and they have found ways to win. That's what he is big on. He also gave us a few minutes earlier to catch up, get his thoughts on this game. Let's take a listen to that.
All right, Coach. Well, I would say that this has been a strange week, but every week in 2020 has pretty much been strange. But you got a bunch of guys off the COVID list this week, including Shaq Thompson, Curtis Samuel, Derek Brown. Are those guys going to be limited at all today, or was Friday's practice good enough to get them on track?
Now, we feel good about Friday's practice. It's such an unusual year, and you know, those guys have done a good job of staying in shape during that time. They paid attention in the meeting, so a lot of other guys practice really well, so they'll get an opportunity to play as well, but those guys will definitely be up.
You guys lead the league in forced fumbles, but could use a few more interceptions. How do you do that against a team that, quite honestly, has thrown more interceptions than anybody else in the league this year?
I think it starts with pressure. We have to get pressure. If we let Locke and their quarterbacks be comfortable, get in rhythm, run around, make plays, we'll be in trouble. If we can get some pressure on the quarterback, whether that's with a 4-man rush or with blitzing, hopefully we can get one thrown our way.
Broncos defense, though, second in the league in the red zone. How do you penetrate that wall once you get inside the 20?
Yeah, and really our issues in the red zone have always kind of been third downs in the red zone. So I think we're just going to be really aggressive today. We're going to, take shots at the end zone when we can. We're going to run the football. They're really good at what they do. We're just going to try to make sure we run our best plays and get the ball in our best players' hands.
Fourth quarters are always important, and as you head into your fourth quarter of the season today, what do you hope to see over this final month?
Well, I can really just talk about today. And really for me, coming off that last loss, as painful as it was, having a week out of the building, having this week, all the things you talked about, to me, if we can show up and play our best football, it'll really speak to the character of this team and what we're trying to build. So I think today's a really pivotal game for the Panthers.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thanks.
Always appreciate Coach Rule taking the time, Kurt. We heard him break down both the Broncos defense, which he told me earlier this week is suffocating. Yeah. That's how he described them. And then also what the Panthers defense can do to get pressure and hopefully get an interception. So, Kurt, just quickly before we get to inactives, how can the Panthers D match the intensity that this Broncos defense plays with?
Well, you're not saying I have to face the Denver Broncos defense. What you're saying is I get to go against their offense. And how do you win on defense against their offense? Well, you have to get pressure. You heard that from Coach Rule. And the formula doesn't change, but how do you generate that pressure does change week to week. You need Brian Burns. You need Derek Brown. You need your key players to get that pressure without having to always bring a blitz. And then when you have the opportunities, when you do get pressure and Drew Lock throws it up there, you have to make the plays. We've seen the players in several positions to make the plays, and they're not winning those battles. So whether it's the Troy Pride, the Rasul Douglas, the Trey Bostons, the Justin Burst, you guys have your opportunities. You have to make the most of them because he's only going to throw a few. But when he throws a few, you have to make them count.
Well, speaking of getting pressure, we got some breaking news in the form of Denver's inactives. We're going to show them to you right now, which might make it a little bit easier for that D-line. We see Garrett Bowles. That was a surprise. He is out, their left tackle. Also Glasgow, right guard. That's significant, Kurt. You were saying earlier that their offensive line has been such a strong point for the Broncos this season.
Yeah, that was actually something that I was going into this game saying, where are their strengths as a team? And the offensive line was something that is very consistent throughout the year. They've only had 2 or 3 changes out of the whole entire 5 starting lineup. Now, this is going to be a big blow, not having, especially Garrett Bowles, because you have a guy named Brian Burns coming on the side. You have to figure out how am I going to stop Brian Burns without my best tackle in the game. So they're going to have to keep an extra guy in. They're going to have to be very creative, especially with 2 of those key pieces missing on the offensive line.
Let's look now at the Panthers inactives. Well, Kurt, we figured it was coming, but there it is. Officially, Christian McCaffrey will not play. It's just tough for him earlier this week. His shoulder was getting healthy. He said he felt great on Monday, then went out to practice on Tuesday, and his quad was just starting to bother him. It was something that happened the week before. Got out there, tried to practice, and just ultimately couldn't work through it in time for this game. So certainly we wish him all the best.
Yeah, and we know everybody that knows Christian McCaffrey knows he is the ultimate competitor. If anybody can be out there, it's going to be Christian. And it's just unfortunate when you work so hard to overcome one injury, something else kind of sets you back. But I think he's going to be in the great hands and the care of the Carolina Panthers and the staff. And Kevin King does a phenomenal job of getting his guys back on the field as fast as possible. So when he's ready to go, I think this offense is going to have a nice shot and injection of energy with him out there. But obviously, Mike Davis has done a great job this whole season. So I expect nothing less out of Mike Davis for this game.
And one other note that was on that inactives list was Marquise Haynes. He is not there. And although Zach Kerr was not listed on the inactives list, he is out. He is on the COVID reserve list. So we're going to see a lot of those rookies and young D linemen today. All right. You know we love giving away prizes on this show, so we want to let you know what today's giveaway is. It is the Bud Light Cornhole set and a Robbie Anderson jersey. So all you got to do is be 21 or older and watch the show. We are going to announce the lucky winner at the end of the show. So that's pretty sweet. I would take both of those. Kurt, I know you love cornhole.
I love cornhole, and I mean, Robbie Anderson is top 10 player as wide receiver in the league. I want both items. I'll take both.
We wish that we were eligible for that, but someone will be winning that at the end of the show. All right, we are going to take a short break. Jeremy Chin is getting warmed up. We'll see if he has some of those fumble recoveries. Maybe he's going to get the interception. Who can say when he is out on the field? We'll be right back after this.
Charlotte, North Carolina will be MLS team number 30.
Charlotte awarded the 30th franchise. This is a big moment. This is huge.
This is going to tie this city together. It's going to be New Charlotte. We're going to have one big party every day. You ready to party?
Able to get a cross off with the ball!
So my name is Lindsay Capias. I'm a Share Charlotte volunteer, and I've been photographing for them with the past 6 months, photographing in a variety of their different nonprofits. I've always been really inspired by photography. My grandma was a photographer. I'd always see her with her camera at the zoo and stuff like that. And I was just really interested. And so then I started taking pictures, and then I figured out I was capturing moments. So I've gotten to go out to these different nonprofits and see it firsthand, which has been really eye-opening since Share Charlotte connects together 500 different ones. So there's just an infinite amount of ways that you can volunteer. And it's been really amazing to be able to capture these moments with my camera. Photography is a really important tool because it captures moments, and within all these volunteer opportunities, there's a lot of beautiful moments that happen. And so photography is a great way to capture these moments and show all the different volunteer ways that people are making a difference. I just want to thank Amy Jacobs and Nicole and Caroline and the rest of the Share Charlotte team and all the nonprofits that I've connected with for letting me come into their lives and capture all these beautiful moments.
FanDuel presents Fantasy Football Standouts. Panthers wide receiver Robbie Anderson had 4 receptions for a game-high 94 yards and a touchdown in Carolina's last game at Minnesota. His 41-yard touchdown haul marked the 9th time in his career with a receiving touchdown of 40-plus yards, ranking him 4th in the NFL since 2016. Robbie's numbers were good for 17.4 fantasy points, bringing his season total to 101.5. Panthers fans, play free fantasy all year. Sign up at FanDuel.com and get a free entry every week of the NFL season.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live. Kristen Balboni, Kurt Coleman. Kurt, let's talk some offense. So we just saw the inactives list. We know officially that Christian McCaffrey will not be able to play. DJ Moore not on that inactive list because he is on the COVID reserve list. Those two big weapons, 2 big parts of this offense that are not at Teddy Bridgewater and Joe Brady's disposal today. And then Curtis Samuel was activated on Friday, only got 1 day of practice in the last 2 weeks. What I'm just wondering for you is, what does this offensive game plan look like today, considering all of those factors?
Well, the good thing and the benefit to what the Carolina Panthers have had throughout this week was the bye week. They had the opportunity to kind of study themselves and look at what do they do best. And some of the things as an offensive coordinator, what Joe Brady is going to have to understand is we have to go to our guys and what plays can we run, what formations can we get into, whether it's the Curtis Samuel was in or DJ Moore is in. There's a formation and there's a set that they can run that is very, very productive. And so those are the things that you have Brandon Zylstra. You have your guys that have been able to run it throughout the week in practice. And so you know if you knew DJ Moore was not going to play, you can plug in somebody and you know that it's still going to be successful. But then you lean on the guys that were there. You lean on the guys that have been productive throughout the whole season. Robbie Anderson is going to have to get a little more targets, a little more opportunities. Mike Davis is going to have to come alive in the run game, obviously, but also in the pass game because they're going to bring a lot of pressures from a lot of different areas. And the most important thing is to get the ball out quick and don't let that defense kind of lick their chops and get after Teddy Bridgewater.
That's what John Miller said. We got to be efficient on 1st and 2nd downs in this game. All right, let's hear what the team had to say about what they need to do on offense, starting with Teddy Bridgewater.
I think situationally we want to be a better team. 3rd down, red zone, 2 minute. We could just put those things together. I think we'll have a good chance of just, executing in this game. I think we do a good job of scoring we do a good job of getting points. We putting together scoring drives, but they don't all end in touchdowns. We could just, finish drives with touchdowns and not field goals.
I think our guys have showed up every game ready to go, and they've been in every game, and they've had a chance to win at the end. And so as we get ready for Denver, we know Denver's going to be ready for us. We're ready for them. And, we're anticipating that we'll go out and battle, fight, scratch, claw, take it to the 4th quarter and try to make one more play and win it at the end. And so that's where our focus is on nothing else other than just this game.
We evaluate each week. Every defense plays different, different coverages, different, they understand your tendencies just like, it's our job to prepare for their tendencies. And, I think a lot of it has to do with, what are they doing from a coverage standpoint? And I think you watch them, especially this past week, I think they do a great job in the red zone of limiting teams to field goals. They're the best in the league at that. And so I think a lot of, an emphasis is obviously when you get down there, understanding how to potentially attack them in the coverages that they're in or find ways to run it in there. And our biggest thing right now is just the execution element of it. And while we get in there is, just making sure it's as situations get down there, the field gets shortened. And so, missed assignments or mental mistakes, and when that happens, it's on the coaching and understanding that when you're playing the top defense, that stuff can't happen.
Kurt, you heard Joe Brady talk about the Broncos in red zone defense. They are second in the league in red zone defense. It's an area where the Panthers have struggled this season. So how did they get it done here today? How do they execute, as Joe Brady said?
Well, I mean, that is the question I'm sure that the offensive staff was really looking at. What Denver Bronco and what they were able to do last week against the Kansas City Chiefs, 0 for 4 in the red zone, they held them to 5 field goals. And so you look at a high-powered offense like Kansas City, well, what can we do differently? And like I said, you're going to understand that there's going to be opportunities where the blitz happens. There is a weak spot in the defense. And so Teddy Bridgewater has to see, diagnose, and then deliver. See, diagnose, and deliver to the person that is open and give those guys an opportunity to win. And I think the number one thing that we are going to forget is the run game is very, very effective against this defense. You have to stick with the run and understand and trust that those guys up front are going to get the push and allow Mike Davis or Curtis Samuel, whoever's back there, or even Reggie Bonifant, whoever's back there, an opportunity to run and get a score, because I think the rushing defense in the red zone is their weak area.
Well said. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout, but when we come back, we're going to check in one more time with our amazing fans in the virtual fan room. We're going to be talking defense with Kurt. And pregame warm-ups are right on the way. We see Coach Rule is already out there getting ready for today's game. We'll be getting you ready for today's game right after this.
Fans, the Carolina Panthers, Lowe's, and Macquarie YMCA helped deck the halls yesterday at the first annual Sir Purse Tree Lot. The program provided free pre-lit Christmas trees and a special holiday experience for 350 families in need. The event supported Lowe's national effort to donate $1 million worth of trees this holiday season. Carolina Panthers Charities and the Panthers Player Impact Committee also provided each family with a special gift to help them further celebrate the holiday season.
Fans, Pro Bowl voting is now live and through December 17th. Vote for your favorite Panthers players at every position for the 2021 Pro Bowl at panthers.com/vote.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light.
Back here on Panthers Pregame Live, Kristen and Kurt. Hey, use the hashtag Panthers fans and show us how you are getting ready for the game. You can see your picture right here on our show or in the stadium, courtesy of Bank of America. Love to see all of those fans of everyone getting ready for the game. And speaking of fans, Kurt, we got to check in on our virtual fan room.
I love our virtual fans.
Love getting to see them every single week. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us. I see we got Mike. We got Mark up there. I'm a little far away, so my eyes aren't great.
Your eyesight is phenomenal for reading those names.
I am doing my best over here. We love to see all of you. Love the spirit. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll be checking in with them, of course, throughout the show. And they'll be a big part of the game, too. You know, it's always virtually or with the limited amount of fans that they can have here at Bank of America. Fans are such an important part, and we appreciate all of you joining us. All right, Kurt, let's talk stopping the run. We know that the Broncos can run that ball. We heard a lot about it when they faced the Dolphins. So let's hear first what the team had to say about this Broncos offense overall, and more specifically the run game.
So they have a lot of offense that you have to be prepared for. And as I said, you know, that Dolphins game, you see those numbers, it's sobering in terms of what they can do. And you can't, as I said, you can't just really pinpoint any one thing. They've got good backs, they've got good linemen, they've got good tight ends, and they have, you know, a multifaceted attack to prepare for.
Got to know what they have at the running back position with Lindsey and Melvin Gordon, kind of like a thunder lightning type deal. You know, Lindsey's a quick guy, fast guy who's gonna hit the hole hard, but Melvin Gordon's gonna come through. He's gonna still run the same, but he's gonna run with a little bit more power, a little bit more oomph.
it's like, they beat the Dolphins a couple weeks ago, and they ran for about 190 yards. I think if you let them, and it's their offensive line, they have a pretty good offensive line. If you allow them to run the football, then they're really hard to defend. They're a lot like Minnesota in that they want to run the ball and play action and boot and get the ball out quick. And so they're a lot like Minnesota. They want to be able to run the ball, and they're playing pretty good defense right now. So, I'm sure that, they're going to kick it and play defense and be smart with the football. And when you're smart with the football, you normally run the ball a little bit more and play action and boot. So, and that's primarily what they've done the last 4 to 5 weeks.
We're excited to get back out there Sunday. The bye week was refreshing, so it's time to attack. We've done with plenty of challenges before, so go out there, do what we do best. Again, as long as we communicate, play fast, play physical, they can get the job done.
All right, Kurt, this is your area of expertise. I mean, all of it is, but specifically this. What do you see from the Broncos offense, and how can the Panthers limit it here today?
Well, you heard it from Phil Snow, and you heard it from the players about what they're good at doing. Obviously, the run game, and I think this is a 4-8 team that you have to really take it by segment or quarters of the season. The first half of the season, they didn't know who they were. They didn't know what they wanted as an identity as an offense. Now what we've seen, ever since they played Miami, they played Las Vegas, they played, obviously, the New Orleans Saints, which they were down to their backup wide receiver as a quarterback, which I do not count that game. But then last week against Kansas City, their formula for success is rushing the ball 30-plus times a game. And you realize if they can run the ball 30-plus times a game, that's what they're playing with a lead. Their defense is playing very, very sound. And the number one thing is you are not turning the ball over. This Denver Broncos team has a negative 17 turnover difference. That is one of the worst in the league. And you cannot win ball games if you're having that many turnovers a game. So they figured out if we can run the ball effectively, give Drew a few times and a few opportunities to throw the ball, and then obviously rely on our defense to win, we'll be all right.
Yeah. As you said it, they figured out the formula, what works for them. We'll see if the Panthers can disrupt that formula. All right, we're going to take one more quick break, but we are getting closer and closer to warm-ups. There he is. As you said, he should change his number to 3. He's Mr. Third Down, out there getting excited. I can only imagine what music is playing. I'm surprised we haven't seen him dancing in these last 10 seconds. Yeah, it is. All right, we're going to be showing you him and the rest of the team coming up on Panthers Pregame Live.
Looking for the perfect holiday gift? Give the gift of football this holiday season and surprise your friends and family with a Carolina Panthers personal seat license. Prices start as low as $21 per month. Purchase by December 20th and get 2 complimentary tickets to the Panthers vs. Saints divisional game on January 3rd. Plus, receive your PSL welcome box in time to put it under the tree. Give the gift that keeps on giving all season long. Visit Panthers.com for more information.
The weather's simply going to be outstanding at Bank of America Stadium today, and no sign of any chill or rain. You don't need the winter coats if you are fortunate to go to the game. 70 degrees today by halftime. Just unreal how warm it is going to be. Enjoy it. I think we're going to see maybe a few extra clouds coming in by the end of the game, but still nice and mild and just a beautiful day. Totally different compared to what's coming our way tomorrow.
Tepper Sports and Entertainment kicked off the holiday season by taking our annual tree lighting event presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors virtual on December 1st. Part of the event included a contest for fans to submit their family photos showing their Panthers and Charlotte FC pride. Julius, Kristen, Nichelle, and Brittany were all third-place winners. Virgilio received the second-place prize and a $100 gift card to Academy. And Hugo was randomly selected for first place. He received a $500 gift card to Academy. Congrats to everyone for submitting their awesome Panthers and Charlotte FC family photos. All of the submissions looked great.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light. Brandon Zylstra right there getting warmed up. We could be seeing a lot of him, Kurt, today with DJ Moore out. We know he is ready for that opportunity. And Kurt, you know, this is a pregame show, but there is something that happens every single year, which is so important and so much bigger than football that, of course, we got to talk to it. And that is the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. And it was announced earlier this week that team captain Shaq Thompson is the Panthers nominee this year. So, Kurt, as someone who played in the league for as long as you did, I think you're the best person to sum up what this award means, not just to communities and teams, but what it means to the players.
Absolutely. It's a tremendous honor whenever you get selected. This is from your peers selecting one person, and everyone is having their hand in doing community events. But Gandhi said it best: the best way to find oneself is to lose yourself in the service of others. And when you talk about the Man of the Year award, it is only one person out of the whole league that really gets selected. It is a tremendous honor to be selected from your peers and your teammates. And then obviously when you get to go on stage and you get to be a part of the NFL awards, it is just an amazing experience that I never got to be a part of. But being alongside Drew Brees, being alongside Thomas Davis, Charles Tillman, those guys represented what it meant to be a community first person and to give oneself of others.
Absolutely. Well said. Very beautifully said. And Shaq Thompson is certainly, as you said, there are lots of players on the Panthers who do incredible community work. But Matt Rule put it in his own words about why Shaq Thompson was the right nominee for the Panthers this year.
Well, I love who Shaq Thompson is as a man. I love who he is as a father. I love his humility. I love the way that he gives back. I love the way that he tries to positively affect other people's lives. I love the way that he's willing to stand up for what he believes in. He's willing to speak on issues and march in the streets on issues of racial injustice, and at the same time be someone that can engage in a conversation of differing thoughts with people because he is a man of thought. You know, some people are just men of passion, but he's a man of passion and thought. He wants to speak and listen and learn from other people, at the same time present what he believes in. He's someone that I've learned to really trust as a leader of this team, that I go to with issues. He's someone that I trust, and he's someone that I believe in. And you know, he has, you know, when you're a coach, you make a lot of mistakes, and you know, as a coach, you want to make sure when players make mistakes on the field and that you know, there's you deal with it, but you also want to give grace, and you want to, you know, help people grow and develop as players and, you know, within the team. But you also make a lot of mistakes, and you need your leaders also to give you the same thing. And Shaq's been someone who, along the way, for me, you know, being a first-time NFL head coach, has supported me in difficult times and had my back, and at the same time given me grace when I haven't been right. And we've grown together. And so, you know, I'll be proud to see his name nominated for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award. And I think that his impact on these communities will only grow as the years go on. And so I think he's got a lot of great football ahead of him, and I really like who he is, as you can tell, as a person.
Well said by Coach Rule there. And, you know, Kurt, you and I were talking just a few minutes ago about how players are giving back to their communities, not for recognition. They are doing it out of the goodness of their hearts. And there are so many players across the league who really take it upon themselves to give back. And I think Shaq is a perfect example of that. And he said it in his own words. He's like, I don't like the limelight. Yeah. I don't want to be in the spotlight. I do these things because that's what I'm called to do. And so it's nice to see him getting recognized. You know, we're showing this right here. This was back in April or May, where he donated 2,000 meals to hospital workers in the COVID pandemic. And then he matched that with dinner twice per week throughout the summer for displaced low-income families struggling with temporary living conditions in motels. And he does stuff, you know, both in Sacramento and in Charlotte, his hometown, and now his current town, for underprivileged kids through the Thompson Legacy Fund, which was established as a way to memorialize his mother, Patty Thompson, and all the great work that she did. I mean, the list goes on and on for the different ways that Shaq is involved, especially in the lives of young kids. And it's just great that we are getting that work out there.
Absolutely. I mean, we could speak a lot about what he does in the field, but to me, you want to leave a legacy that's greater than yourself, leave a legacy that's going to last outside of the football field. And what Shaq has been able to do throughout his whole time in the NFL, but obviously he's being recognized this year, is just being a community-first person, not only in our community here in Charlotte and the Carolinas, but obviously in Sacramento. And you talk about the experiences of what it like growing up. And you talk about Shaq and how he grew up with his brothers and with his mom. And it just leaves a lasting impression of what you want to do for others. And you saw and you see what he's done during the COVID pandemic and giving them. I remember, you know, a funny story. He called me I was like, hey man, do you know anybody that would help me, generate these meals for these people? I want to help the frontline workers right away. This was right as soon as they started posting the sanction. I said, let me talk to some people, and I tried to call him back, and by that time he's like, I already got it all planned out. And it was just so amazing that he was very proactive and wanted to do so much for the people on the front line. But now he understood that obviously the people that are in the low income households that need that help too, he was able to do that. And it's just so amazing that he's being recognized for it. But again, I mean, Shaq Thompson, but there's so many people on this team that are doing amazing things. Trey Boston, Teddy, I mean, you could go on.
Well, and the great thing, what a great transition, because when we come back, we're going to be showing what a lot of those guys are passionate about, because today is My Cause, My Cleats, and we're going to have a chance to recognize some of the things that these players right here are passionate about. Congratulations again to Shaq. We got Teddy and Matt Paradis out there getting ready. We're going to take you straight out to the field for pregame warmups when we come back after this.
Fans, take care of your holiday shopping today. Visit shop.panthers.com to receive 25% off all Panthers merchandise.
Channel 9 is asking you to help local kids roll into a happy holiday.
For nearly 30 years, Hancock's Bikes for Kids has distributed bikes to kids in need, and we need your help.
On December 15th, join us at Bank of America Stadium for Bikes for Kids. Your donation of little bikes, big bikes, and in-between bikes will make this holiday special for Carolina kids.
Help spread some joy this holiday season. Join us for a very special collection December 15th at Bank of America Stadium.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light.
Welcome back to Panthers Pregame Live, presented by Bud Light. It's almost game time, Kurt, which means it is time to crack open a Bud Light. We're going to take you straight out to the field right now. This is the only place you will see pregame warm-ups. And speaking of Bud Light, Kurt, it's time for your Bud Light Spotlight. Who is the guy in the midst of, coming off the bye week and all of the changes that the Panthers had to go through with practice this week? Who is the guy that is going to have to step up and have a great game for the Panthers today?
It's going to be the guy that touches the ball every single time the ball is snapped on offense. That is Teddy Bridgewater.
Good selection there.
I
Makes
think it's
sense.
a very safe, but obviously, Teddy's had a great season when you look at statistics. I mean, over 70% completion, 2,800 yards throwing, 14 touchdowns, of a passer rating of 96.3. He has had a phenomenal season. Now, what are we looking at? Teddy, we need you to take the game over. You understand you're outside of DJ Moore. You don't have him in this game. But guess what? You still have some weapons at your disposal. He has to be able to read this defense. This is a tricky defense for any opposing quarterback. And I love how he's just very carefree, ready to roll. But he has to understand that the shoulders of this game is going to be on him. They've had a couple of situations where they could win the game. And I expect Teddy to go down there, get the opportunities, and to really take this team over the hump as a winning team.
I love that he is just always so relaxed pregame. Look, speaking of relaxed, it's harder to get more relaxed than that man there.
I've never seen him.
I mean,
he's just easy going.
Nothing phases him.
No.
He also just, he could play a full game, and he's just, you wouldn't even know it by the time that he got done with the game, because it's just, calm, cool, and collected all of the time. Robbie Anderson, and of course, as we alluded to earlier, with no DJ Moore, with Curtis Samuel being only able to practice on Friday, we expect to see a lot from Robbie Anderson, and boy, do we know that he can deliver when he gets the opportunity.
Absolutely, and that is well said. You look at what he's been able to do throughout this season, and I was so happy that he was able to get another touchdown last week of 40-plus yards, but he has over 900 yards receiving. And he's 9th in the league in receptions of 75. So he has done an amazing job as a player. But this game is going to be a big key game because of the things you talked about. No DJ Moore. Curtis hasn't had as much practice time. This offense has to be delivered around him and Mike Davis. And obviously, Teddy Bridgewater has to find the opportunities to get him the ball and allow him to make the big plays that he's made throughout his whole career, but especially this year.
Well, practice or not, we know one guy that is always going to deliver is Curtis Samuel. I love that he does this. He does this every single game, where he almost just has, the high five line, the low five line, offense, defense, doesn't matter. Sometimes he'll get right in front of the tunnel and make sure he gets everybody. Just very cool to see.
He's a Buckeye. I expect nothing less out of Curtis, but no.
Knew you were going to get that in at some point.
I got to throw it in there anytime I can. But he's an amazing player, and you saw what he's able to do, especially on third down. He's Mr. Third Down. But he's got to come alive on first, second, and third down this week.
Absolutely, and love to see that. Teddy giving his quick, it's always quick but very impactful, his pregame speech to all of the players. And of course, this guy is going to have a lot of expectations today, especially knowing how much they need to run the ball, and especially knowing that Christian McCaffrey will not be out there once again. But he's been doing it all season.
He's had a tremendous season, and what I talked about is he's fourth in the league as far as broken tackles with 27, but he only had 2 last week against Minnesota. And so I'm going to be nitpicking. I say, where can we improve, Mike Davis? I need more broken tackles.
Because he was right up in the league.
He was number 1 and number 2 for a long time. And so, you know, in order to get this offense going, and I feel like this offense hasn't been in the groove that we've seen, and especially last week, it just never felt like they got in sync throughout the whole game until the very end when they came up short for the win. But I think this offense, obviously, Teddy Bridgewater is going to be the star for this game, but this offensive line and Mike Davis have to be able to create opportunities that move the chains. When there's short yardage situations come in, hey, coach, give me the ball, I'm going to get it for you. Hey, coach, throw me the ball, I'm going to break these tackles. And I think Mike Davis obviously has the opportunity, he has all the ability, and I can't wait to watch him do it.
I just want to point out really quickly, you were just talking about the O-line, but we just saw Tyler Larson over there on the right side of your screen, and Chris Reed. Those are 2 guys who are participating in My Cause, My Cleats. Chris Reed, he might be taped up right now, I'm not sure, but I know that he is supporting the Humane Society of Charlotte for pet rescue, which I absolutely love. And then Tyler Larson, he's number 69 right there. You see these just wonderful cleats he has on.
Showing them off.
They say 1 in 54. He is supporting the autism community in action. And 1 in 54 kids right now is the stat are diagnosed with some form of autism. I had the chance, along with several others from our production department this week, sit down and talk about why this is so important to him. His son, Ty, was diagnosed with a severe case of autism about 8 months ago. Ty is almost 3 years old. And he talked about what that was like for him and his wife last season, and then compared it to this season in terms of, you know, Ty with the help of Taka and also therapy. He has really improved, and they've been able to break down that communication barrier. They see so much improvement now that he has his diagnosis, and now that he is able to learn in the way in which he responds to best. Right. And Tyler told us earlier this week, he said the first time he came and sat on my lap, the first time he identified the things that he needed, you know, he's now learning how to do those things and communicate with his family. It was just really, you know, beautiful. He was crying, I was crying, everyone was crying, and it's just really incredible. I love days like today because we get to find out what these players are so passionate about. And so often it is just about football, what you and I sit up here and talk about, and of course that's what it should be about on Sunday, but it's great that there are always these avenues in order to find out what these players care about, where they're putting their energy and what they want recognized.
That was beautifully said, and to Tyler, and I think I went to school to be a special education teacher.
I did not know that.
And because I think the most amazing thing are the children of this world. They are the next generation, but there's so many beautiful things that they're able to do. And, you know, Einstein said it best was, if you try to teach a fish how to climb a tree, you'll never know how special and how gifted the fish is. And I think and Tyler said it best, and when you figure out that all kids, not just one particular, all kids are created with special abilities, and you find out how to communicate with them, you'll learn so much more about yourself than you ever thought. And that's an amazing story. And I think as a player, you say it's called My Cleats, My Cause, but it's my why is what I really call it. My why. And why do I play the game of football so hard? Why do I put in the hours? Why do I do it for my family? And your family supports you so much. And so I'm very thankful for my whys of my life, but I know all the guys out there playing, that's their why. And they represent it on a daily basis. And I'm so happy that the league and obviously the Carolina Panthers, and we have an opportunity to talk about what they do and what they represent in their lives.
Absolutely. You know, you said it when we talked about Walter Payton and Shaq Thompson being nominated. It's such a high bar to even be nominated because there are so many players doing important work and working for important causes, and this is a great example of that today. Pregame warm-ups are presented by Morris Jenkins. The only place you're going to see them is right here. Kurt, there's Jeremy Chin, someone who is important in every single game.
Has he had a good year?
I think he's had a pretty good year. You know what gets me is that to think about the fact that he's still a rookie.
I know. I think we talk about it all the time is when you watch 21 play on the field, you have to remind yourself he is still a rookie. He's still learning things at a phenomenally
You said
fast.
that you were like, when he figures it all out, when he gets it all down, he's going to be unstoppable.
It's scary, and I was actually looking at some of his next-gen stats, and it's amazing what you can do with stats now and these trackers. And he's lined up at slot corner, free safety, outside at the corner, inside. I mean, he's lined up literally all over the field.
He ran the ball on special teams during one game.
He's run the ball on special teams.
Not?
I mean, this week with DJ Moore, who knows? He might be at wide receiver. I mean, he is a phenomenal player.
And what about this, Kurt? He gives the pregame speeches for the linebackers.
I think that it's just a testimony to, obviously, the trust and respect that they have for him as a young man. Yeah. When you can take over a group as a rookie, that says a lot about your character as a person. Obviously, the number one thing is, are you performing on the field? Yeah. And he is backing up his talk with this play, and that's special to see. This is a special group. Obviously, they all care about each other. And I'm glad to see some of those other guys back and healthy and on the field.
Absolutely. Great to see Shaq in there. Tyre Whitehead, Adarius Taylor. Great to see all those guys. A couple of weeks ago, they were quite thin. All right, let's talk about your guy, the CEO of Thieves Ave, Mr. Trey Boston. We were talking about it earlier. I mean, never lacking for energy, this guy, and this could be his game.
Look, I'm calling it. This is Trey's first pick of the season. Mm-hmm. He's had a few that he's had opportunities, and I told him, Trey, you let me down. But
you did not say that to him. Spoken like a true mentor and someone that played with him when he was young.
I was told to speak in truth and love, and sometimes I speak a little more truth than love. And with Trey, you got to hit him with the truth right between the eyes. And I'm excited. I think when I talked to him earlier this week, he was excited, obviously for the opportunity to play, because there were some question marks. Could he go? Could he not go?
Yeah,
and he said, I'm not going to miss this game. And obviously, when he gets his opportunity, when that ball's in the air, he's going to make the most of it. At 3-3, he's got to go out there. He's going to have a career game. I'm calling it right now. Two picks.
He's one of those. Oh, two, not one, but two. I love that. Absolutely love that you're putting that out there. And he's one of those guys that is so consistent, such a leader, such a steady presence, and having a good year that, as you said, he was questionable with a hamstring earlier. And I think everyone went, oh my gosh, what if you expect Trey Boston to be out there and to make an impact. So it's great to see him out there playing through it. And as you said, getting ready for that two-pick game that Kurt Coleman has called. Brian Burns, another guy that we expect to have a big day. We expect him to have a big day every time he steps on the field. But as we mentioned earlier, the Broncos have some offensive linemen who will not be able to play. Right. Most notably, Garrett Bowles, their left tackle. Could be a big day for Brian Burns.
Absolutely, and something that we talked about with Mike Davis only having 2 broken tackles last week. Brian Burns had 0 QB pressures last week, which is unfamiliar territory for Brian Burns, who is 7th in the league with 29 QB pressures, 3 forced fumbles. I mean, he is the man that drives the ship on the defensive line, and I think he's going to have a phenomenal day. And I thought he was going to have a tough day, obviously, if that offensive line was at full staff, but they're down 2 now. So it is his time to come alive and allow those other guys. And the one thing that we talk about is, if you get double teamed, guess what? That means there's a one-on-one opportunity for your other guys with the Gross Matos, Derek Browns. But those guys got to have those opportunities. But he's going to deflect all the energy. And when he gets his one chance with his one opportunity against his offensive tackle, make the most of it. And I know he will. He's a phenomenal player. He's one of the quickest to get to the quarterback.
He is just so good. It's so fun to watch him. I wish we could get a camera just on him for the entire game. Like, even when he is on the sidelines, just his intensity. Yeah. I know you love it. I know you love it.
I'm a high energy guy. I love it.
Congratulations to our winner. That is Jacob Waldrop from Newland, North Carolina. He was watching on Twitter. He is taking home the prize that both Kurt and I want, which is the Robbie Anderson jersey and the Bud Light cornhole set. So big congrats to Jacob on that. And hey, it is good to see Dante Jackson back out there. He took some time. He's been dealing with that turf toe all season long, and he said, look, if there's any chance that I can get out there, I will do it. So it's great that he had a few weeks to take off and come back healthier, and we hope to see him out there playing that whole game.
Absolutely. With his speed and his ability at corner and having 3 interceptions this season on what you would call almost limited play throughout the whole season. He is an X factor as far as the corners, and we talk about there's opportunities to be played out there today. I mean, Drew Lock is going to give you opportunities, and he's going to have to make the most of it, and he has. And what we've seen, whether it be against Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, When he gets an interception early in this game, it is very beneficial for this Carolina Panthers team.
Absolutely. You're calling one for him, two for Trey. It's going to be
quite
the day.
It's a big day.
All right. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us on this edition of Panthers Pregame Live. Thank you so much to our amazing virtual fans. We can't tell you how much we appreciate having you here with us, and we know the players appreciate having you there for the game. Hope you enjoy the game, everybody. We will see you next time.